to Tech Talk Tuesday. I hope you all had a great holiday weekend. We are back. We are here because the goal of these talks is to educate and support our business community. So we are here for you to talk about everything IT.
Yes.
So, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was nice having 3 days.
Yes.
We had our neighborhood fantasy football draft, which is always a lot of fun for those of you who are football nerds like our group is. So that was a lot of fun. And how was yours?
Good. As most of you know, I have a photography business and I've been working on a huge project, and I'm going to be able to reveal that soon, maybe next week.
Good. Okay.
So that's what I did this weekend, but sounds like I hope y'all had a great weekend. It was nice to have 3 days, but we're going to jump right in. If you guys have questions, remember, just put them in the chat and we can get to them right at the end, or if you are watching the replay, just put them in. We'll catch them during the week. So, Wayne.
Yes.
Why don't you give us a review on antivirus and anti-malware?
Yeah. Antivirus is one of those things that just keeps coming up with customers, and it's important. It's very important. So I think understanding what it is good to do. Now, so there's kind of two terms. There's antivirus and anti-malware. They're really the same thing. Malware is considered everything malicious to your computer, right? So these days it's viruses, it's Trojan horses, it's worms, it's ransomware, adware, spyware, and the list goes on and on and on. So even though the packages that you'll see from these manufacturers say antivirus, they could and should have all those things encompassed in them. So what it is it's a software that resides on your PC that monitors all your activity and what's going on in your PC. So all of your website browsing, web monitoring, email attachments, file downloads, all of those things, it's continually monitoring against known and suspicious activity. I always like the analogy of the security guard in the building. It's more than just a security guard watching a bunch of monitors. It's guards patrolling the perimeter and guard dogs patrolling the perimeter and monitoring all the entry points that should be closed and secure. That's one of the ways these viruses get in, is they create openings and exposures so that they can get in. So they're making sure everything's secure. They're looking for any suspicious activity in settings or in the operating system, things that get manipulated by viruses. So that's what they do. And so just think of it as everywhere in your system, monitoring all the time. So it's, really, it's something that everybody needs. Everybody should have it. There's a myth that's been out for a long time that Macs don't need it. And that's not true. I mean, both Windows and Mac operating systems do a great job of locking down entries. That's now how most of the cyber criminals are getting in. They're getting in through email phishing and through texts and social medias, and they click on links and that opens an exposure. And people on Macs and PCs are all doing those things, and that's how they get in. So whether you have a Mac or a PC, you need to have antivirus.
Perfect. So what are some of the things that we should look for?
Yeah, so there's a lot of things you can look at, and most of the companies out there do a good job. There's just subtle differences between them. One of the things is you want from a reputable company that's very active, and a good active antivirus supplier should be updating every two or three times a day, at least. I saw a stat from an antivirus company that said they are seeing upwards to 350,000 new viruses, and they look like viruses a day, which is like 4 seconds.
Oh, wow.
So they're continuing having to update your antivirus as they continually can discover these things. You want something that can set up automation scans, right? That you can set up off hours to run full PC scans for you. You want something that does web monitoring. I mean, websites, many have viruses embedded in them, and the businesses don't even know it. Yeah. And so you want something that's doing that, as well as monitoring for adware and spyware and things of that nature. You want something many are offering now is a VPN. And we've talked about VPNs in the past. Mm-hmm. It's a virtual private network. And what it does is disguise you when you go on to open public networks, when you're at that Starbucks or in that airport. Just think of it as you're completely camouflaged. So even though you're on it, they can't see you. And if they can't see you, they can't attack you. So that maybe if you don't have a VPN, you might get one that has one included in it. Other things to look for is you want something that is going to work in all your operating systems. Not all of them do that. So you want something that can work in a PC, on a Mac, on a Droid, iOS phone. You want something. And our recommendation always is get one that works in all. Maybe today you're only PC and Droid, but who knows what your business is going to be tomorrow. You want something that's not too resource heavy, eating up too much of your processing. Some operate more efficiently than others. Some are a bit clunky. I mean, we use Sophos. That's what we use to protect ourselves. And so if you look, and for those of you can always go to your task manager and look and see what all your programs are using, consuming both in your RAM and your processor. Sophos typically runs less than 1% of your processing resources is running. Sometimes it'll run some additional activities that'll get you 1.4%, but that's really what it should be doing. If it's using a lot more than that, then it's not running very efficiently. Right. So, that's an important consideration. There are others that have features like firewalls and password managers, or a lot of them call them wallets, password wallets. That may be interesting to you, and that may be something you want to consider. Right. So the thing, what I like to say is, if you have an IT services provider, whether you're actively working with them or just consult with them now and then, ask them what they use. A good IT services provider is going to have to use a good antivirus. We are targets because we have access to a lot of people's systems. So we have to be doubly, triply locked down. Mm-hmm. So if a good IT provider is using XYZ company, then you're probably pretty safe that's going to work for your business as well. Very good. Yeah.
Let's talk about packages and costs.
Well, there's a lot of them out there, right? And there's a lot of costs. So some basic things to consider are usually they require a 1-year commitment, and they usually have 2 or 3 levels of protection. Many of them will offer an introductory for a year, and then you have to, when you renew, the price may as much as double. So really look at that renewal cost. Don't just get brought in on the introductory cost. But, a base package, $50 or a little less for the introductory. The renewal cost should be $100 or less for the year. Premium packages, they can offer so it's
Alrighty.
Okay.
Sorry about that. We lost our internet somehow.
Yeah.
But we will start back at packages and costs because that's what we were talking about. So
yeah, thank God for hotspots on phones. Yeah, we're not sure what happened to our office internet. Yes, we were talking about costs, and sorry if I repeat myself because I'm not sure exactly when we went out. But so for packages and costs, usually, first of all, it requires a year commitment. And usually there'll be 2 or 3 options of basic and premium services, things of that nature. Now, from a initial standpoint, often there's introductory rates, so be careful of renewal rate. So you want to really make sure you're considering that as well. But a typical base package introductory rate is $50, maybe a little less, somewhere in that neighborhood. Renewal rates around 100 or a bit less. And premium packages usually are more in the 150 a year, where they offer a lot of the extra features like firewalls and wallets and things of that nature. The thing is, if you have an IT services provider that you're active with, often they can do monthly subscriptions. That's one of the things we offer if we're doing a monthly managed service. So that, especially if you're adding or losing people, it's nice to be able to have that flexibility to be able to bill on a monthly basis. So beware of free licenses. They're free for a reason. They usually don't update. They may update for 30 days and then they don't anymore. And as we talked, they have to keep you protected. So really don't do that. And don't make a decision just based on price. Price, it could be providers. Just go with a good provider and a good solid package. The cost of having a successful cyber attack, ransomware attack, is going to be way more than a few dollars a year. So don't go cheap on it. Protect your system. That, and the other thing I will say is that you want to make sure that you have a firewall that is complementary. It's not either or. And also you need a good recovery plan. Have everything backed up to the cloud. So that if you do get hit with ransomware and they tell you got to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars in Bitcoin, you can say, I don't think so. And we reformat your system and we download everything, all your programs and files out of the cloud and your Active Directory if you have one, and off you go. So we can have you up and going in hours. So you have to have that plan in place.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that brings us to your tip of the week.
So staying on the same subject, we're going to talk about, if you do buy antivirus, go into your programs and look for any other antivirus that may be in there, free versions. A lot of PCs, they'll come with a free version of McAfee. What happens is, if you have more than one antivirus, they're all grabbing at files at the same time to analyze, and they fight each other and they drag your processing down. So if you are going to buy an antivirus on your own, go in, make sure you uninstall anything that's on there. There may be a free Norton or any malware bytes or something like that. Get rid of it all, download your antivirus, and you will have much better performance.
Sounds good. My tip of the week. So sometimes it's annoying, at least for us, that when you open Word, you have all that gray space, and sometimes it's hard to, focus and whatever. So Wayne, figured out how on a PC and Mac to make your page go full screen. So if you go into your view, and on a PC it is text width, and on a Mac it is page width, and you click that, it'll actually get rid of that gray space and give you your entire screen for your page.
That's under Zoom, right? So
under Zoom. Sorry. You go to View and Zoom, and then it's either text width or page width, depending on if you're PC or Mac. So.
Especially as we get older, we need that text a little bit different. Gotta have that.
Yeah. Or you just get the glasses.
Fighting it.
All right, that brings us to our question I said them in the chat, or if you have any throughout the week, please feel free. We always check and get them. What have we got going on next week?
We are going to talk about common mistakes when disposing of old PCs and phones. So we're going to give you some advice along those lines.
Oh, that's going to be good because everybody does that.
Everybody does that. Yes, they do.
All right. Well, we hope you guys have a great week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye now.